Hey, Sam. Late night again?
Morning, detective. Here, let me get the door for you. They're over in 106, just down the hall.
Hey, Jim. Follow me. This is a weird one for sure.
Oh, holy crap, it smells bad in here. You think maybe you could get some of the rookies to come in here and clean up a bit? I could come back in 20 minutes. I'm kidding. Just ignore my rambling. Yeesh. Looks like this guy hasn't eaten in weeks. Damn VR junkies. Why'd you guys call homicide, though? This just looks like a case of neglect.
Yeah, that's what we thought at first, too. That's what they usually are, anyways. After looking around a bit more, though, we noticed that the guy's chained to the couch, and the couch is bolted to the floor. It's gotta be a homicide, then. Tell you what, you take a look around the place and see what you can find. Any items pertinent to the case, just leave them where they are, and I'll bag them up and bring them to the lab for you.
Death by VR. It's not the first time we've seen it, but seriously, chaining a guy to a couch and forcing him to play until he starves to death? We are looking for one sick son of a bitch here. Worthless. Not a serious book on the shelf. This guy obviously likes his recreational reading. Fantasy? Fantasy. Sci-fi? Sci-fi. I'm starting to detect a pattern. This is not useful. I don't think this has anything to do with the case. Definitely not a clue. Whew, that's a beautiful TV. Sure as hell can't afford to buy one of those on my salary. Sci-fi? Fantasy? Fantasy? A teddy bear? Well, that's kind of creepy, actually. What's a grown man doing with a stuffed toy? Wow, that's an impressive record collection. It's not going to help me solve the case. Not a serious book on the shelf. This guy obviously likes his recreational reading. Definitely not a clue. Worthless. I'm not going to bother searching through his entire file system. I'll leave that up to the guys in tech. Definitely not a clue. I don't know why I'm looking at this. It's not useful. Wonder what happened here. That's one hell of a smashed mirror. Strange. Drawers are empty. Strange. Drawers are empty. Don't people usually keep a lot of stuff in their bathroom cupboards? William Brennan. Guess we know who the dead guy on the couch is. Clozapine. Isn't that an antipsychotic? I might be able to get a DNA sample from this. Strange. Drawers are empty. What the hell? This isn't dish soap. It's blood. Did it come from the guy on the couch? I think I've found all the clues we're gonna need. Max said he'll bring them back to the lab for me, so I guess the next stop's the morgue. Morning, Dana. So, what you got for me?
Good grief, Jim. You look like you haven't slept in weeks.
How kind of you to point that out. I'm used to working with Tracy on these types of cases, and she does half the lifting. Okay, most of the lifting. Sadly, her being on vacation means that I don't get to sleep much until she gets back. So, what have you got for me?
Quite a lot, actually. Where should I start?
How about with the victim?
Well, that's the confusing part. We still don't have a clue who he is. The DNA samples we took from the comb and toothbrush are a match, but beyond that, we haven't been able to find much to go on. The building manager told the boys in blue that he'd been living in the complex for just over 15 months. He paid rent in cash, like clockwork, a day early, too. The neighbors rarely saw him, though when they did, they said that he was always pleasant, but concise. No one really knew much about him. Manager said his name was
John Doe?
Jordan Delaney, actually, but close enough. Either way, it's a fake.
Interesting.
I'll say. As for how he died, that's where things get a little more gruesome. At first glance, I would have said he starved to death, as he's quite obviously malnourished. Once I took the VR headset off, though, I discovered something really disturbing. Take a look at his eyes.
Blue as the sky. This is unusual?
His eyelids are missing, Jim. They were cut off, and not with a knife either. The edges are completely cauterized.
Ugh. Are you saying he burnt them off?
He used a cutting laser. It's not something you can just pick up at a local hardware store. It's hospital equipment. For precision surgery.
Are suspects a doctor?
He very well could be. Either that or a student, but he'd have to be in his 6th year before he'd get any experience with lasers. Back to the cause of death. This is going to sound weird, but I'm pretty sure he died of fright.
Seriously?
Well, the lack of food would have already put a lot of stress on his heart, but basically, yes. There's clear evidence that the cause of death was due to cardiac arrest. Whatever he was being forced to watch must have been pretty terrible.
Do we have any idea what he was watching?
IT's analyzing the headset right now, but all they could tell me immediately was that the signal was being transmitted to the headset wirelessly. Most likely via an encrypted signal, so it's going to take them a while to figure out where it originated from.
Okay, so tell me about the clues?
Which one you want to hear about first?
Any idea why there was a teddy bear in the victim's apartment?
No clue why it was there. The boys in the lab said that a surface analysis didn't uncover anything either. They're doing a more thorough scan, pulling it apart to see if they can find anything inside, but it's going to take several more hours.
I thought the meds I found in the apartment belonged to the victim.
Unfortunately, they didn't. We contacted the manufacturer, Quinlan Pharmaceutical, and they traced the prescription to one William Leon Brennan, and gave us his address.
Perfect. Guess that's where I'm headed next.
I'm a step ahead of you, actually. SWAT kicked in his door 30 minutes ago, and the place was spotless. Not because he was a clean freak, the place was chemically wiped down. By professionals. They found this on the kitchen counter.
A lock of hair? He's toying with us.
The lab's running the DNA right now, but again, it's gonna take several more hours.
More delays. Just when I thought we might have had a solid lead. What about that weird book?
That book is not weird. It's one of the most precise examinations of human anatomy ever written, and it's nearly 600 years old.
Okay, tell me about that old book then.
Very funny. The copy you found isn't actually old. It's a facsimile, of course. We ran the ISBN and found that it was sold at the Paper Hound, a bookstore at the edge of Chinatown.
Do we know who bought it?
A Mr. Money. Cash money.
Very funny.
Tit for tat.
All right, so, a whole bunch of dead ends and more waiting. You'd think a crime scene might actually turn up some more immediate leads.
Aren't you forgetting something?
Oh, I'm sorry, love. Did you need a hug?
The soap bottle, filled with blood.
Oh, that. You know, I think my brain decided to wipe that one when I hit the pillow. 7 years of work in homicide, and that's one of the creepiest things I've ever found at a crime scene.
You've seen some pretty pleasant crime scenes, then.
I said the creepiest, not the most disgusting or gruesome.
Point taken.
Okay, so what don't you have to tell me about the bottle of blood?
Actually, the soap bottle is the first piece of evidence that leads somewhere definitively. We ran the DNA against our database, and it spat out a name in the first 5 minutes. Victor Krengel. He's known to police all over the country, but they haven't ever been able to convict him of anything. He's been accused of aggravated assault, battery, disorderly conduct, and 7 counts of rape. His father's some hotshot criminal lawyer with Meyer, Franklin, and Bergenstein, and somehow always manages to get him off the hook through legal loopholes.
Sounds like a real sweetheart.
You're telling me. The local police are probably banging on his front door right now, so the captain wants you to head out to his last known place of employment.
Which is?
The Texaco station, just off I-6.
Farm country? Well, doggone it, partner. I guess I better saddle up my horse and skedaddle.
Wow. You really must be tired. I'll get Shirley to keep you posted if the lab results come any sooner. Don't forget to turn on your radio.
Well, Doc, you know I love spending time with you, but I should probably follow up on our leads. I'm sure I'll see you again soon, though.
Ooh, don't take offense when I say I hope not. I've got enough bodies to deal with already. Good luck, Jim, and be safe.